Hello and welcome to another chapter of a tome pulled right off the shelves at the heart of the Jakuls. As always, I'm your skilled host, Lothran, and there's ever so much more data to relay. So let's get to it, shall we? Go grab a filling meal, settle into a cozy spot, and pay accurate attention to Fleet Part 71, Weakness.
Alduin sipped at the lightly alcoholic, fruity blend. It was quite nice, actually. It had a sort of pine aftertaste to it. He could see why there were a few dozen others sitting around and chatting, while ordering many of these little ceramic mugs of liquid pleasantries. He smiled as he noted his mark enter the tavern and take a seat, alone and easily in his view. 3 more bodies had been found in the last week. Cam was offering to throw money at him to get this solved ASAP, but there was only so much influence money could have in a situation like this. This man might be an important key in the investigation, but Alduin doubted he would budge for a little money. Other leverage would likely be required. This man, what was it? Lothane was his name. He often came to this spot to meet with Hargon. For those of you not really following along, that was the name Alduin had encountered in the cripple bar. A one-legged man that many company soldiers reported to and paid regular income to. But Alduin couldn't target Hargon yet. He was too high up. He had to keep an eye on him. And Lothane was the key to getting at Hargon. Lothane was a nurse, a thin, frail set of a man. He looked tired and well worn. He ordered a cheap drink and began to smoke a cheaper domi, worse than the ones Alduin was smoking. They always form groups in these jobs, sort of. The women and men united in a reactionary genetic clique. This nurse was shunned since he was male, and 90% of the medical staff on Bitterrock were female. Most of the men were surgeons. There were a few like Lothane, but from what Alduin recently learned from gossip with another male nurse, it was absurdly difficult to get into the clique if you were a man, and even more exhausting to stay there. Which explained why Lothane looked so effing spent all the time. It's not like it wasn't natural. 2 rooms over was a bar strictly for pilots and upper-level seedy engineers. Alduin had practically been laughed out of the room when he'd entered to check the place out. They hadn't been mean about it. Just one of the regulars after the roar died down had pulled him aside, brought him a drink, and explained that he wasn't a member of the club. Then he'd been given a few high-class domies and sent on his merry way. Honestly, the treatment was a marked improvement over many of the other methods of removal Alduin had experienced in his long life. So here he was casing Lothane again, in this mixed patronage bar, looking for chinks in the armor, little details that could give him an in. But what made the medical staff really interesting was the spike of deaths and injuries, and then some strange, real effing strange disappearances, all right after the mangled Deramore survivors showed up. Arzezo. Maybe. You can never be totally sure in this business, but very likely. Someone was always struggling, always looking for a way to make their life a little easier. The chain doesn't break because the strong links. But Alduin had to be careful. He wasn't sure who was being watched. And this particular brutal Zazo, he did not want to come up on their radar before he absolutely had to. Hey, I asked if we could sit in these empty chairs. A group of quiet soldiers in Deramore uniforms asked of Alduin. He thought about being rude or coming up with an excuse. Lothane had begun to talk to someone, but Alduin chose not to make an issue out of it. Actually, I'm pretty much done here. Enjoy the table. Alduin moved off, paying his bill and retreating to a nearby intersection. to browse through some random street vendors. He had to change tacks. This wasn't working. It wasn't getting him enough quick enough. He had to go pick up the kid and create some interesting solutions to this problem.
And so it is. Our time together has once more come to a close. I hope each and every one of you enjoyed the tale as much as I have the telling of it. As always, I've been your dedicated host, Lothran, and this was Fleet Part 71, Weakness, another tale from the heart of the Jakuls. And now, sadly, ever so sadly, we must once again part ways. Korvoth, guide them back along the proper path, back to the safety they know all too well.
Yes, sir, Lothran. Back to just talking and thinking about stuff. I miss the spaceships. So sad. We gotta put up with it as long as Lothran's doing the story stuff. A pleasant greeting and a fond farewell to each and all. Please leave all your comments, questions, and kindnesses down below. Don't you let me catch a single one of you leaving any of that nasty, rude, or dreadful stuff, though. You keep all that garbage to yourselves. Got it? Don't you do it. Not once, not never. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to help us learn, spread, and grow. And don't forget that we strongly encourage each and every one of you to stay safe out there. See you again tomorrow for Fleet 72. Good night and good luck. You'll need it. Bye-bye, everybody. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye, 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 bye-bye. What are you still doing here? Bye-bye. This is the time where you go away. Go. Shoot. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye.